Brain rot is not just a meme or a joke, it's a scientifically backed phenomenon that is creeping into our everyday lives. When your brain goes from processing information like a supercomputer to running like a 2003 flip phone loaded with nothing but snake, you've got brain rot. But how does it happen? Why does it spread so easily? And most importantly, is there any hope for recovery? Let's dive deep into this epidemic of mental mush and uncover the facts, no cap. Number 1. What is brain rot? Brain rot is what happens when your brain gets so overloaded with overstimulation, meaningless content, and low-effort entertainment that it starts to atrophy. It's not just being distracted or lazy, it's cognitive erosion. Your brain loses its ability to think critically, focus deeply, or even retain information. Instead, it operates on autopilot, repeating the same low-energy thoughts and reactions. In simple terms, brain rot is like when your computer gets too many viruses and slows to a crawl, except it's your mind, and you can't just press Ctrl+Alt+Delete to fix it. Number 2. What causes brain rot? First cause, endless scrolling syndrome. Apps like TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter are designed to fry your attention span. Every scroll or swipe delivers a dopamine hit, making your brain crave more and more instant gratification. Before you know it, you've spent 5 hours watching videos of raccoons stealing hot dogs. Congratulations, your brain is now operating at raccoon-level efficiency. Second cause, hyperstimulation. Think about your daily routine. You're watching a YouTube video while scrolling through Twitter, texting your friends, and listening to a podcast in the background. Your brain wasn't built to handle that much input at once. This overstimulation creates what scientists call cognitive spaghetti, where your mind is so tangled up it can't process anything properly. Third cause, low-effort vocabulary. Words like sus, lil bro, ratio, and zesty dominate modern communication. These simple, repetitive terms reduce conversations to loops of verbal mush. When your brain stops engaging with complex language, it loses its edge, sinking further into the abyss of brain rot. Fourth cause, memes and trends. Repeated exposure to the same joke formats, viral dances, and predictable video tropes lulls your brain into a state of passive consumption. Instead of creating or thinking critically, your mind becomes a sponge for recycled content. Number 3. The biology of brain rot. Brain rot isn't just a vibe, it's backed by science. Overexposure to overstimulation and low-quality content actually rewires your brain, causing measurable changes in its structure and function. First biological factor, dopamine overload. Dopamine is the chemical in your brain that makes you feel good. Every time you scroll, click, or double tap, your brain releases a small hit of dopamine. But just like with junk food, too much dopamine desensitizes your receptors, making it harder to enjoy anything that requires effort. This is why reading a book or solving a puzzle feels boring compared to scrolling TikTok. Second biological factor, neural pruning. Your brain is like a garden. It trims away the pathways it doesn't use to make room for the ones it does. If you spend all your time consuming low-effort content, your brain decides you don't need critical thinking or creativity anymore. It prunes those connections, leaving you with a brain optimized for watching people argue on Twitter. Third biological factor, mirror neurons gone rogue. Mirror neurons are responsible for helping you learn and empathize by mimicking what you see. But when exposed to brain rot-inducing content, these neurons reinforce bad habits and low-energy thinking. For example, after watching enough based or cringe debates, you might start applying these labels to real-life situations, reducing your thought process to a binary of approval or disapproval. Number 4, symptoms of brain rot. Do you laugh at the same meme format every day without getting bored? Do you find it hard to focus on anything that isn't fast-paced or visually stimulating? Have you started using phrases like bros cooked or ratio in actual conversations? Do you remember every TikTok trend but forget important dates like your mom's birthday? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you might be brain rotted. And let's not even talk about attention spans. If you're struggling to read this far, that's a symptom in itself. Number 5, how to fight brain rot. Fighting brain rot isn't easy, but it's possible. Here's how. Touch grass. No cap, going outside and exposing yourself to sunlight and fresh air can reset your brain. Nature has a calming effect that counteracts the overstimulation of digital life. Read something longer than a tweet. Your brain is like a muscle. It needs exercise to stay strong. Start with short articles, then graduate to books. It will be hard at first, but the payoff is worth it. Set screen time limits. If you're spending 8 hours a day scrolling TikTok, it's no wonder your brain feels like mashed potatoes. Use apps to monitor and reduce your screen time. Do something hard. Learn a new skill, solve a puzzle, or engage in a creative hobby. Activities that require focus and effort force your brain to build new connections, reversing the effects of brain rot. Engage in meaningful conversations. Talk to people about real topics, not just memes or trends. Challenge yourself to think critically and express complex ideas. Number 6, is brain rot a societal crisis? Absolutely. Brain rot isn't just an individual problem, it's a cultural epidemic. Algorithms and social media platforms prioritize low-effort content because it's more engaging, and that engagement equals profit. The result is a feedback loop where creators churn out brain rot-inducing material, and consumers lap it up, further dulling their cognitive abilities. The implications are far-reaching. A brain-rotted population is less informed, less creative, and less capable of solving complex problems. It's not just about your personal productivity, it's about the future of society as a whole. Conclusion: brain rot is real, but it's not unstoppable. Brain rot is a product of our environment, our habits, and our choices. While it's easy to fall into the trap of endless scrolling and low-effort consumption, it's also possible to climb out. By making intentional changes, like reducing screen time, engaging in meaningful activities, and reconnecting with nature, you can reverse the effects of brain rot and reclaim your cognitive sharpness. So are you brain rotted? Probably. But the good news is, your brain is resilient. With effort and discipline, you can bring it back to life. No cap.